Well, game 3 is in the books, and I can't get right. I'm on vacation at the beach, and I can't get right because this nonsense just keeps happening. The Dallas Mavericks fall in game 3 last night. Came out with some good indicators early on. Kai finally got going, had himself a 30-point performance. Luka ended with 27, but some good things happening. The problem was it was Luka, it was Kai, and then it wasn't any third man. And to me, the first sign of trouble was the fact that Dallas was leaning heavily, looking for that third man, on Tim Hardaway Jr. And even though Dallas early on kind of pushed out a little bit into the lead, you never felt secure with it. And then it started to turn south quickly as Boston made their run, ended up putting Dallas in a hole, a 21-point hole, in fact. Which, how many times have we seen that over the course of this series? And really the postseason as a whole. It's a game of runs. And as this just kept building and building and building in Boston's favor, finally, Dallas takes Tim Hardaway Jr. out of the game, who was giving them nothing, by the way, for a guy that's supposed to be a knockdown shooter for them, giving them remarkably nothing. And as soon as he comes out of the game, Dallas goes on like a 20-2 run to cut it down. I think they cut it to 1 at one point. But the problem is this game gets away from Dallas because while they're able to cut it to 1, they lose Luka Doncic on back-to-back fouls with about 4.5 minutes in the game remaining. In the first, he's called for a foul on Jaylen Brown in the paint as Brown is trying to post him up. Personally, I felt that Brown hooked him, but close enough that even with the challenge, you're not going to get that. Then, the next possession down, we get a little bit more controversial with it. Luka tries to take a charge as Brown is attacking the basket, driving from the three-point line. And yeah, Dallas has to challenge it because you got nothing. If you don't win that challenge, Luka's done. That's 6 fouls. And so for the first time in his postseason career, Luka fouls out of a game. And it's in the most dire moment of the season. That is really a shame. I'm not gonna, whether or not it should have been a block versus a charge, I'm not really gonna say because I could see it going either way. The fact of the matter is, I think Luka kind of took his chance on the assumption that they weren't going to foul him out with 6 fouls at that moment. But they did. I think Kai then on the next possession got a bucket to make it a 1-point game. And then Boston seesawed right back in front because what did Jason Kidd do once again? He put Tim Hardaway Jr. in the game, and Hardaway got eaten alive on defense. And they just gave up stupid baskets. Hardaway gives them nothing offensively. And Kidd's desperation relying on him, going with him over Derrick Jones Jr. I understand Jones Jr. is not an established three-point shooter, but Hardaway has given you nothing. He's given you 1 game in the entire postseason, so why rely that way? In my view, what was consistently the problem for Dallas was I don't think the coaching has been great this series. Kidd has been outcoached. It's not to say that he hasn't been overall good in the postseason run, because clearly he has. But Boston is just doing certain things defensively that Dallas doesn't have an answer for. Dallas cannot find a way to get a third option going. And even their defense is getting picked apart because they are unnecessarily helping when they are 1 rotation away, leaving the corner 3 wide open. And Boston is just bludgeoning them with that. Meanwhile, Boston's defensive versatility and their ability to play disciplined, very role conscientious basketball is just giving them anything they want. And Dallas can't match it. So you have plays like Kyrie getting lost one rotation away, helping over the ball, zipping behind his head, and him looking completely lost before getting a late contest on a corner three at a pivotal moment. You have other mistakes as well, where this team just looks like they're out of sorts and don't have answers. And so you find yourself in the historically impossible position, being down 0-3, being beat up, being worn down, and trying to figure out how to keep your season alive. You know, even in the scenarios where I thought Boston would win the series, which I thought, obviously they were the favorites, I still had the feeling that it was going to be a long series. But I think that put a lot more trust and faith in Dallas's adjustments after game one, which I always thought was going to be a Boston win. But we haven't really seen that. Dallas has kind of continued to run what they're doing and just trusted that they were going to do it better in subsequent games, that with some time and some desperation, they would find some answers. They haven't. And the result is now an 0-3 hole, which has never been overcome. So I wish I had an answer. I don't. Hopefully they can get it done in game 4, at least squeeze out a gentleman's sweep. I think overall, when you look at this team, though, you say, hey, you have to give full kudos and marks to Nico Harrison and company for their trade deadline maneuvers and their roster composition. This is a major step forward. Nobody thought this team was going to make the playoffs. Nobody thought this team, even at the deadline, was going to make the playoffs. They certainly didn't have us winning the West and going to the finals. And all the noise today, all the criticism of like, oh, Luka did damage to his image. How did he have a historically good season and do things that have never been done? Take a team that wasn't projected to make the playoffs and get them to the West, or get them to the finals. And now we're trying to have a conversation like he's doing damage to his legacy at 25 years old, and he's just a guy that can never win. Miss me with that garbage. It's reactionary bullshit. It's the same lazy ass journalism that's just so indicative of the industry today. Like it's garbage. I don't take anything in that. I don't care. Brian Windhorst, whoever. Garbage. I put zero trust, faith in it. Just don't get pulled off sides. Don't give these losers your attention, because that's how they make their money. Doesn't matter about their analysis or their reporting. Just focus on your team. Take pride in what your team did this year, what they accomplished, and trust in this front office moving forward to take to heart the things they need to do better, maybe the additions they need to make next season to move you forward and get back to hopefully get the job done. You will be better for this experience. Is that to say that you guaranteed have another opportunity? No. You never know. From one year to the next, you never know what it's going to take to get back. But you now have a better idea of what you lack and how you may maneuver that moving forward. Till next time, I'll ride this out with you guys. Peace.